forgot to mention this last part. How to know when a narcissist is trying to get over. So remember, I saw that noodle in the bowl and I made myself believe the lie. Well, what a narcissist would do is once they see that you are catching on to them, they will try different tactics so that you won't expose them. Because you may not even be trying to expose them, but you being light or having the truth is exposure, and they see that as a threat. They may see you before you see them. Okay, so I'll give you an example. Little Miss Susie Q, who killed off her family because they were getting on her nerves, remember? And so she decided to kill them, bury them all, or hire a hitman to do it and move cross country and start a brand new family. Went to church, became a deaconess and all of this. How does she get away with that like that so many years? Because every deception always has an element of truth, or else it wouldn't be deceiving. Deception always has an element of truth. The sky is rainbow colored. Okay, you belong in a loony bin. The sky is blue and orange. Well, it is blue, but maybe they see orange in there. I don't see orange, but it's okay. See the difference? So one is very obvious. The other one is, well, it does have some truth in it. Maybe it is. They got you thinking. Once they got you thinking, they got your mind. Once they have your mind, they got you. That's witchcraft, one form of it, right? So, battery's going out, so I gotta hurry up and tell you, right? Let me see if I can. Okay, so sorry about that. So they will use, that's one way to use, that they use deception. And I'm talking about the soulless creatures, or those who are strong narcissists. They will cause you to think something is true when you know it isn't true. So I knew that the noodle dropped, but the narcissist says if I got closer to where that noodle dropped, they would come up and say, hey, how you doing? How's your mom doing? They use distraction. So what was my distraction? I wanted to eat. And I said, oh, thank you, good, and I go back, they will continue to try something else. They'll say, oh, the noodle's right there. Your noodle's right there in the bowl. Really? Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead and eat that. You know it's good. You know you're hungry. You know you want it. They will try to reinforce things to make you feel good. Again, they are masters of the sense realm. Apostle Selman says that all the time. That means they are master psychologists and also in the realm of the physical realm. This is their realm. They've been around much longer than we have. So don't try to think just because you got Jesus, I got everything. I can see. I know what you're doing. No, you don't know everything. They're masters of psychologists, and so you have to. So to speak, respect that particular thing to say, okay, Lord, this is beyond me. I need you. And there will be times when the Lord said, now you're talking. I was wondering when you were going to come to me and get on out the way so I can handle this. This is beyond you. This is a principality that you ain't got no business trying to save. You up here thinking you can be Superman or Superwoman in Jesus, because this is not that deal here. You go to the Lord to see exactly what's going on, and he may tell you to step on out the way because it's about to be a huge showdown, a God of Elijah about to come through. So another way that a strong narcissist will try to get over on you is, yes, distraction, yes, outright lies, but not even outright, but deception, which are lies that includes elements of truth. And little Miss Susie Q got away with it because, they don't cower or hide behind. She's right there in the open. I mean, who would suspect that she was the killer? She goes to church every Sunday. She's a lovely wife. Even her husband and, of course, her kids don't know. How would he know about her life 20, 30 years earlier? She love bombed him into where she is. He saw some signs of, but he didn't think it was that she was a potential killer. Come on. I mean, she does everything right, and that's how she wants to keep it, because she was trying to maybe not kill you, but she was trying to sustain the altar through the lineage. So maybe her assignment with the first people, with the first family, was to kill them. Was really not her. Remember, this the network through her. But maybe through this new family, the assignment is to ensure that she, number one, doesn't get caught, so she can continue with her business outside of jail. And so she don't want to kill a whole nother family again, but she has another way of killing them. Kill their spirits, kill their minds. They're very wicked. That's what they do. So the children are suicidal. One of them might kill themselves. They count that as a brownie point, you know. They didn't do it. Or did they? Of course they did. And so it manifests in many different ways. And that's if you don't believe that this can exist, then you may become a victim. You have to it's not to be paranoid, but it's to be aware. It's to be aware. And some people there, as believers, this may not be necessary for you to know on your journey. You may come across some people like this. I'm sure you will, or excuse me, not people, creatures like this. But depending on your mantle, it might not matter as much. You see, so maybe you don't need to have this in depth of an understanding, because it has nothing to do with your assignment or your mantle. And so, but for those who it does, it can be very confusing, because you're like, Lord, I love you. I praise your name. What is all this? Why all these people from different places who don't know them, who don't even know each other, are coming up against me? Because it's not them. It's one entity. So when you're in the spirit, the higher you rise in the spirit, you see from the ego vision that you are, and you can look down and say, oh, I see what it is. The postman flipped me off. My wife was getting on my nerves. My kids hate me and all of this. It's just one spirit. Leviathan was darting through each of those people. Oh, okay. I see. Okay. Lord, Father. Okay. All right. Then that's when you know how to go to the courts of heaven. Now you have insight from the inside, from looking above, instead of being right there in the carnal world. You stay in that carnal realm, they got you. It's a done deal. You can't win there. You can't win there trying to figure out, oh, well, is she jealous of me? Is that why she hates me? It's the Jesus in me, isn't it? Well, yes and no. Yes, but it's a lot deeper than that. It's a mantle that you carry. It's not even about you. It's what you carry. And they have assignments. They have groups assigned to certain mantles, because they know their time is short. So they have taken and they've stolen what they learned while in heaven, and used those structural systems to be efficient with their time, because they know their time is short. So it's not just a whole bunch of random demons and principalities just all in their No, they have bodies too, with false heads. I call them false heads or false authorities. Like the word shalom in Hebrew, the Hebrew characters mean to cut off the authority attached to chaos. Authority, head, attached to chaos. They have chaotic bodies, but they're still bodies. So they have chaotic bodies with a head assigned to certain regions, chaotic bodies with a head assigned to certain mantles. Oh, that's an Elijah mantle. Jezebel body. We need you over here. Jezebel is not a spirit. Jezebel is not just over lust. Jezebel is a network. It's a network. It's just a coin. We have to coin it something so we can understand. So Jezebel, I need you over there. There's an Elijah mantle. We know those angels. We don't know exactly what they have planned, because they don't know the future, but they've been around long enough, and those were their brothers and sisters at one time. Remember, we know, oh, Bojo, that one right there. He's in the prophet company. So they're going to send out their people, their personalities that are trained to be against the prophets, to go fight those angels and to attempt to fight you, the fire of God. And if you're not praying, then that will sometimes not free up your angels or your destiny. You still stuck in your little treats, your little carnal world. So that's the importance of prayer, and to know different ways that soulless creatures, especially if you're dealing with narcissists, those strong narcissists as soulless creatures. That's one of the ways they get over. So they try to distract you. They lie to you outright. And if you catch them in a lie, then if they can't switch your mind to make you think that you're the one lying, then they turn to rage. Rage is a tactic or a tool to get you to shut up. So it's a way to threaten you. Because if I'm loud enough, if I'm angry, and believe me, of course, a devil can be angry enough, then you'll shut up. You'll be scared, or people around you will be scared, and you won't have any support. So then I just get away with what I want. No, you go to the Father, who is fire, who has all-consuming fire. Do you hear me? Do not let those tactics deter you from the truth of knowing that noodle fell on that floor. You better keep looking, because it's there, and you will find out the truth about everybody and everything. And little Miss Susie Q would have been found out a long time ago if somebody in the church had addressed that hunch that they had. Something seems off with little Miss Susie Q. I don't know what it is. I can't put my hand on it, but it's something off. But sometimes though, you have to be careful, because it could be that yours is a little off from watching 12 hours of Samson and Son. Now your mind is a little cluttered, and so you got a hunch coming from the spirit, but you interpreted it wrong, because you got too much clutter in the mind, so it can't be interfaced correctly. And it's nothing against Sanford and Son. I'm just saying, if you watching marathons and stuff, instead of doing marathons of prayers, you can't do a visual. You can't get on your face in a retreat. You can't worship God like that. Then chances are those priorities are going to show up somehow with some kind of results that may not be favorable. So anyway, so we have to be careful and to balance this thing out, that everything that you feel or about somebody may not always necessarily be correct either, especially if you find it does not line up with the Word of God. But when you know that your spirit is astute, and everything is in place, and that is the Holy Spirit, even if you aren't getting it clearly, you are getting that hunch. Don't ever ignore the hunch. Don't ever ignore the signs. There are people, there's a particular person on YouTube, she copies and pastes the same message, and you'll see people respond and say, isn't this the same message that you put on the other page and the other page and the other page? Oh, well, God bless you. We'll pray for you. That's exactly what she wants you to do, so that other people will come along, because a lot of people are like sheeple instead of sheep of Christ. They'll be like sheeple. They'll go with what looks right to the carnal eye, to the naked eye. Oh my gosh, what a terrible story. Let me pray for you. Then you get one person who is a little bit more astute, exercising a little bit higher level of spiritual intelligence, and go a step above and say, why don't you go to your local pastor for help? That person will never respond to you, because like the Pharisees and Sadducees, they're not asking questions for a solution. They're asking for an agenda. They're doing what they're doing for an agenda. They know that they can't come right out and say, can I get some money? Like those are people, that no. Remember, deception has an element of truth. There's a strategy. They know by, first of all, putting pictures of children, that's already going to grab your heart. Putting a long story with details, it sounds true. Now you're going to investigate. Let me click on here. Now you've done that with your own will, mind, will, and emotion. Use your mind. They gravitated to you. They got through the back door of your emotions, so they can get in your mind, and you, by your own will, now go and seek more about that person and get sucked in with them. That's how soul ties are created. And then you look a little deeper, and you see videos, and you look a little deeper, all of a sudden it says Cash App. They knew you were going to look deeper. They knew it. That was the plan all along. It was just like putting down little candy treats on the ground for whatever. And you followed right along. And it's become their career. That's when you saw the same messages copied and pasted over and over. That's your hunch. Something is off here. Just 2-3 years ago, there was a YouTube family, and they actually recorded the entire family on a regular basis. Had a whole TV show. I think they had like 700,000 subscribers. These kids were being abused. They found out that they hadn't been eating for weeks, days, and months, some of them. But they made a whole viral account because, wow, look at this big family. Oh, it's like a free reality TV show. And all this witchcraft happening right in the face of everybody. Abuse happening right in the face. They were recorded. The only reason they got caught is because in the last few episodes, some of the kids weren't being recorded, and they were asking why, because they grew relationships with this virtual family, and they weren't answering them. So then people got curious. It was too late then. There's signs all the time. There are hunches all the time. Never ignore the hunches. Somebody's life can be depending on it. And I bet you know from that first example who I'm talking about, you need to pray for those children. She's even updated the picture to show how they are growing up. Because she knows she has to follow along with the lie, the deception, the witchcraft. You don't know what's happening to those kids, but you do know they're being exploited and have been for years. And when we see things, we don't see it. It's not directly affecting us, so we don't really do anything about it. We just say, oh, that's odd. Oh, that's odd. And then they get more people who are not astute and say, oh my goodness, what a terrible story. We'll pray for you. And so all of these messages that we'll pray for you confirms within the lie within the minds of other believers. And so somebody is going to go and search and give her Cash App. That's her career. She's made a career out of being wicked and exploiting those children and doing God knows what else. That's a narcissist. They don't care about the consequences. They don't have the ability to care at certain levels. It's been numbed for whatever reason, whether their soul was exchanged, whether something happened when they were a baby, or whether they just came in that way. Some people can come in that way. There are literal spirits that can transform to look like human beings. And when we act outside of the will of God, we can open our legs, or we can allow a woman into our space, and that will give them legal right to have to create all types of seeds. You'll be giving birth to something, or to a creature that looks human but is not human. Witch doctors, the way you know a demon animal is that if you kill it and you cut it open, it has no entrails. It has no inside, because it's 100% powered by a wicked spirit. The way you know a strong narcissist who is a soulless creature is that they have no soul. That is considered our inside. They have no ability to care. The ones who are on the other part of the spectrum who have feelings, they don't know how to process their feelings. But there is a level of wickedness that literally is soulless. It exists. It's on earth. Elon Musk was just in the new, publication or in the news 2 weeks ago saying it's his opinion. He thinks that humanoid robots will outnumber humans in the future. Nobody thought that strange. And to the fact that they published it, we can better believe something like that than the fact that there are versions of that already exist. It exists. Haman, Amalekites, they exist. Sadducees, Pharisees, they existed. They exist. That's how they come in. That I just gave just one or two ways. There's all different kind of ways. And so if there are even well-meaning believers who don't know this, how can you explain that? Because one of the other tactics they use is to make you look like you're the crazy one. Oh, and that's the last thing. They hide behind mental illness. They are not mentally ill. They hide behind the guise or the label or they mimic mental illness. So a lot of times you'll see people say, oh, they must be bipolar, because one minute they so nice and the next minute they just flip on you. That's because they were never nice. They were only doing that to get by, to disguise themselves. Little Miss Susie Q didn't want to be caught as the killer. If she's in jail, how can they continue to do their evil work out here? So they know how to adapt. They know how to mimic, but they can't be. They can mimic love, but they can't be love, obviously. Can the devil love? No, that's the one weapon he does not have. And so he's scared of those who know that and who see that. So he'll turn to rage. But love disarms. And so love is about from human to human. That has nothing to do with the demon. He has no realm there. That's an area of fire he can't touch. So say, for instance, if there is a narcissist who's gotten married or had children and they still have a soul, your love will protect that soul, because that's one thing that the devil doesn't have. That is a hedge of, you have to speak fire around that child, but you love them. That is a weapon. Love, genuine love, only comes from love himself. It is a real weapon. They can't do anything with that. That totally disarms them. And if that is a power or a principality beyond you, it still will protect that child. And they have the point or the hope of being free, of being saved, because their soul will be intact. Their mind won't be messed up and messed over by, the tactics of the enemy. They won't have anything in common with the enemy, and neither will you, for there to be continued attack. I told the Lord, as he continued to reveal these things, even through the bleeding of my heart, that I would never shut up about his name. I never stop testifying about what he's done in my life. I can only tell this because I've gone through it and I've overcome. It will try to make you go crazy, because not many people are taught this, even in the church. So when you try to explain it, how could you say something so bad about little Miss Susie Q? You know what? She just made me biscuits the other day. And I wasn't going to tell you this because she told me not to tell you. But she said that you were such a good-hearted person. And so now you want to tell me that you got a hunch about Miss Susie Q? So you see, that's another way they work. Once they spot you, one thing they do is they turn people against you. They turn people against you, not by necessarily gossiping outright about you. They will use good. There's a tree of good, and so they will talk well about you. So that makes them so that they're not suspected. Why would someone who hates you talk well about you? If they were truly the killer, then why would they show up at the funeral and be the first one at the casket? They are that wicked. That's what devils are. They are the wicked of the wicked. They don't have a gauge like we do. And so we create this cognitive dissonance. We can't understand it, so we rather believe the lie than the truth. That's cognitive dissonance. I can't find that noodle, so I'm going to believe that the noodle in that bowl is it, because that makes sense. It's just one noodle. That must be the one noodle that fell. I know good and doggone well the noodle didn't fall all the way over there, and I felt it on my shirt and heard it drop to the ground. But there's a cognitive dissonance because I've done everything in my power, and that's normal. I'm a smart human being. I know how to look for a noodle on the floor. It ain't there. It is there. It's in a place that you didn't know where it would be. Maybe your foot clicked it over there. Maybe your eye can't see it because it's too dark. There's always going to be areas in life, especially in the spirit realm, that we do not understand. That's why we have to fall in love with the all-seeing one and to listen to what he says. Have relationship with him. He protects even our silly mistakes by his mercies. Oh God, thank you. But don't rely on those to get you by every time. We should be wanting to seek his face and wanting to live victoriously on purpose, by purpose, for his purposes. In Jesus' name. I love you, family. Take care and see you next time.